Hi everyone, welcome to Mike's Nature Connection. Today we're going to be talking about landscaping for wildlife and what you could do to attract more birds and other wildlife to your property. Now if you want to be successful at that, you have to factor in 4 different elements. You need a source of water, food, shelter, and nest sites. And out of those 4 elements, water is usually the most overlooked, and that's the one that we're going to take a closer look at today. Sometimes people will have it in their landscape but in a bad spot, and other times they won't have it at all. So we're going to look at the importance of water. I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can incorporate it into your landscape. In future videos, we're also going to look at the other elements and how those are important and how you can factor them into your landscape. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell as well, because that gives you a heads up on when the new videos come out. Thank you. The main water feature I have in my yard is this little creation I made from a soapstone sink that was just gathering dirt and leaves behind the garage. It didn't take a lot of effort really. I just basically dug a hole, I recessed it in the ground, lined it with some rocks, more importantly rocks inside it. It gives it different levels for birds to drink out of and bathe from. And the circulating pump is important. It helps keep mosquitoes from using it with the water moving, and it helps limit the amount of algae, although you will get some if it gets a lot of sun. And we will go over my cleaning process in a little bit. The location I chose is adjacent to one of my vegetable garden beds and at the end of this little wildflower patch. And you can see it's fairly open and visible from most angles, and that's important. Birds feel more comfortable if they don't have a lot of overhanging vegetation all around it, and they won't really go to it if that's the case. But this gets a lot of activity. It's about 12 feet from this feeder pole here, and behind this little patch of wildflowers is an area that I just let grow wild. I'll clean it up in the fall, get the invasives out, but this is loaded with pokeweed. There's black raspberry in here and thistle and some other wildflowers that have gone by. So it's a good spot where there's a lot of cover in there and a lot of food, so they go back and forth to this quite a bit. It's hard to see now because some of the ferns are growing over it, but I also have perches where they'll land on these sticks before they drop down to the pond, so that offers good photo opportunities as well. Sometimes I just dump the hose in here and displace the water with fresh water, but today I'm going to give it a good cleaning. I take the rocks out, I take the pump out, I sift it out with the net, and I basically hose the pump out because sometimes little bits of algae and other debris gets inside it, and then we're good to go. Being able to photograph the birds and other wildlife is definitely very satisfying. I mean, it's awesome when they end up posing on a stick for you by the pond or a bird bath, and it's always cool to get shots of them in the water. But aside from our enjoyment we get out of it, we can't forget how important it is for them. Having water to drink or bathe in during a drought becomes a very valuable resource for them. It's also true in the winter when everything is frozen and it's difficult for them to find a source of open water. In a minute we'll talk about what we could do to provide open water for them in the winter. Even if there's plenty of water nearby any time of year, if you have a source of water in your yard that's combined with those other important elements we talked about for a good wildlife landscape, you'll definitely be rewarded with seeing a lot of activity at your pond or bird bath. I also wanted to show you this little heated bird bath that I have. These things are worth their weight in gold. When everything else is frozen solid in the winter and you have a source of open water, talk about a bird magnet. I mean, everything will come to it, and definitely worth getting if you don't have one. I like this one because it's very portable. You could set it up on a stump, you could just put it in a flower bed. Anywhere where you can run a cord to it just to keep it going is fine. What I don't like about this one is that it's kind of shallow, so it does evaporate quickly. You just need to stay on top of that. They also sell bird bath heaters that you can put in an existing bird bath, so if you already have one, you could try that too. This is a tub here that I bought for the purpose of mixing cement. They sell them in Home Depot, right where, you know, they sell the bags of cement and other supplies like that. I never ended up using it for that, but it occurred to me one day what a fantastic little pond liner that would make. I would simply throw crushed stones in the bottom and maybe get a slightly larger circulating pump than what I have in my little pond that I showed you. This probably has about 40% more volume than that, but it would still be an inexpensive project. And something about birds hearing water bubbling, it really attracts them. So, you know, if you can get a little pond in, great, but there are a lot of other bird bath options out there. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'd love to get your feedback. So if I inspired you in any way, you found it helpful, you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you want to share some thoughts on it, that's cool too. In fact, I'd love to hear from you if you have your own wildlife experiences from a pond or a bird bath on your property, so please share. And on my channel page, I have my email. So if you have any questions about this video or any other videos, or you have any bird ID questions or whatever, feel free to email me. If you do that, leave a comment. That way I'll know to find it and I'll be able to get back to you probably quicker that way. And also, I made it easy for you. See this little guy in the kayak here? All you need to do is hover over that if you want to subscribe, and that'll allow you to do it quickly and easily. Thanks again. Take care.